Forum for Autism is a parent support group to support families of children with autism. It was set up in the year 2002 under the Indian Trust Act 1950. Forum for Autism mainly aims at creating awareness about autism, empowering parents to advocate for rights of persons with autism. Forum for Autism is a parent body which runs two libraries in Kolaba and in Vashi with around 500 books. It also conducts parent training workshops, seminars, and talks. It has a database of parents and professionals and provides sponsorship to unaffording families. Forum for Autism participates in various activities. To name a few are Mumbai Marathon, conducted workshops for parents with young adults, celebration of World Disability Day at Malad Basti, and self-help skill workshop. Since the lockdown, Forum for Autism is continuing its work online. It has been conducting webinars on various topics like preparing to choose the boards, homeschooling, storytelling sessions, setting up presidential setup, to name a few. All the parents who are interested can check those webinars on YouTube. Chef Sanjeev Kapoor and commentator Harsha Bhogle are the cause ambassadors for Forum for Autism. Throughout the lockdown, Forum for Autism along with ASK, that is Adult Support Kendra, is offering online individual counseling, family counseling, parent support apart from various other services. To know more about these services, parents can contact Ms. Munira Pitalwala on the number mentioned. For any information or details, please contact the phone numbers flashing on the screen. Join our journey. Be an active part of Forum for Autism. To know more, please call on the phone numbers on your screens. Thank you for your overwhelming response to our webinars. Forum for Autism requests you to donate generously so it helps in our future endeavors. All the donations are eligible for the tax exemption. Please follow us on social media for updates on workshops organized by Forum for Autism. Please follow our Facebook page, Forum for Autism. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our website www.forumforautism.org.
Good afternoon, everyone. Big welcome from Forum for Autism Mumbai. Today we're having a webinar on handling puberty in children, adolescents with autism. And we are glad to have with us Dr. Avinash D'Souza, who is a doctorate in clinical psychology from UK. He's a consultant psychiatrist and psychotherapist and a founder trustee of D'Souza Foundation. He has over 700 publications to his credit, and he has authored around 12 books on mental health. So I request Dr. Avinash D'Souza to take over the webinar. Dr. D'Souza, please, you can continue with the seminar.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm very thankful to Darshana, Fatima, and the entire staff of FFA for having invited me here. Uh, Today's topic is a very special one because sexuality and autism spectrum disorders is not very often spoken about. It's a topic which is very close to my heart because for the past 20 odd years since I've been working with children with autism, I have always spoken about sexuality and sexual issues in this whole spectrum. And initially, it was met with resistance. Then slowly, people started opening up, and it has been a learning experience for me as well. The very first question that a lot of parents ask me is that, Doctor, my child suffers from autism spectrum disorders. He has sensory issues. He doesn't like anyone to come close to him or hug him. He doesn't like to touch others. He doesn't like to be kissed on the cheek. He pushes people away when they go near him. How can sexual features develop in our child? My answer to that is the child with autism spectrum is a human being just like you and me. He is developing. He has the body, he has the hormones, he has the organs, he has the testes or the ovaries. The girl with autism menstruates. The boy with autism has all the puberty changes. The only problem that lies is in the cognition, the thinking. They may not understand what they are facing. They may not understand what sexual issues are. They may not understand how to express these sexual issues, where to express them, what is the manner in which to express them, to try and differentiate whether what they are feeling is sexual or non sexual. These are the problems that a child with autism spectrum faces. But they have the body, they have the organs, they have the hormones. So, no doubt, sexuality will be expressed. What are the ways in which a child with autism spectrum disorder or an adolescent with autism spectrum disorder expresses sexuality? Just like autism lies on a spectrum, sexual behaviors in autism lie on a spectrum. They may lie from behaviors where simply the child may look at the opposite gender and smile. They may lie where the child probably just looks at the opposite gender and laughs. He may try and touch a member of the opposite gender. He may try and hug a member of the opposite gender. It may move on to him forcibly wanting to kiss or hug a member of the opposite gender. Sometimes it could happen he may make the member of the opposite gender touch him or her. It can happen that he may also get aggressive. It can happen that he may walk around the house without clothes, which can also be due to sensory issues. It can also happen that he might want to remain nude for a long period of time. They may engage in self stimulation or masturbatory behavior. And in that nude stage, they may come and try and hug somebody who is around them. So you have a whole gamut of sexual behaviors that you see in autism. Now, a very important part and a point to realize is that these are natural behaviors. Sexual behaviors in autism are naturally expressed. These are behaviors which are very naturally expressed and they are biologically driven behaviors. So it's vital and it's important to understand that we should not be curtailing or curbing these behaviors. Rather, these are behaviors that should be given expression. What are the body parts involved in sexuality? Namely, three. First, the sexual organs, because the sexual organs of a child or an adolescent with autism are developing. Second, the brain, because the brain also is affected by this hormonal development. The brain is also affected by changes that happen physically. And thirdly, the hormones. All children with autism spectrum disorder produce hormones, male hormones, female hormones, depending on their gender, and this results in the expression of sexuality in these children. Very often, what also happens is parents have to be mentally prepared that this is going to happen. Sexuality is expressed by children of the autism spectrum irrespective of their intelligence levels. So children with high intelligence will express it. Children with normal intelligence will express it. Children with low intelligence will express it. Like I mentioned about sexual behaviors, there could also be sexual behaviors where the child may rub the genitals against a wall, rub the genitals against a pillow, play with the genitals. Even these are the forms of sexual behaviors that may be seen. It's very important to understand the behavior of the child, whether it is sexual in nature or it is sensory in nature. There are many children who have sensory disturbances and they may indulge in rocking and grinding movements because they like the vibratory proprioceptive sensation. And it may not be sexual, but it may appear to us as there is a sexual behavior happening. There are many children who just like the feel or the touch when they touch their genitals, and we may think of it as masturbatory behavior. There are a large number of children who just enjoy rubbing themselves against an object, and we may think of that as sexual behavior. So it's very important that we differentiate between what is sexual behavior and what is not. A thorough occupational therapy assessment will help us ascertain whether this behavior is sexual or not. What are the hormones involved in sexuality? The female hormones are estrogen and progesterone. And these are hormones that make up the female part of sexuality. The male hormone is testosterone. Testosterone, you all know, is very, very important because higher levels of testosterone at around the 7th month of pregnancy in the brain of the child has been linked to autism spectrum disorder. And that is why autism spectrum is far more common in boys than girls. Testosterone is a socially aloofing hormone. It makes you want to be alone, does not make you want to speak to anyone, makes you want to be separate. And therefore, testosterone levels being high are a marker for the development of probable sexual issues. They are a marker for the development of probable autism spectrum disorder. And that's how high testosterone has been linked to sexual problems and aggression in children with ASD. A very important facet is puberty. Puberty in children with ASD starts early or starts late. Sometimes it may start as early as 11 to 12 years. Sometimes it may start as late as 14, 15, or 16 years. But it begins. The menstrual cycle may be regular or it may be irregular in children with autism spectrum. The menstrual cycle being irregular is due to hormones. When regular, there may be variations in bleeding. Some children may bleed more, some children may bleed less. That varies child to child. The development of breasts, the development of pubic hair, that is the hair around the genitals, the development of axillary hair, that is the hair under the armpits, may also occur at different ages. Some children develop it early, some children develop it late. Another reason why children from the autism spectrum get to know about sexuality is because they are very good imitators. If you show them a film or a movie, or they accidentally see some scenes which are sexual in nature, they may tend to interpret these scenes in their own way. They may tend to enact these scenes in their own way. They may tend to sort of replicate these scenes in their own way, and then again we may see sexual behavior. A very important facet about sexuality with autism is do not look at it with stigma. Do not think, oh, my child has these sexual problems. What am I going to do now? Do not think, oh, my child has these sexual issues. How will I take the child out now? Remember, sexual issues in autism spectrum are very normal. There is nothing to be ashamed about it. There's nothing to be affected about it. There's nothing to feel upset about it. If your child has sexual issues, it can be handled. But like I said, be very clear that the issue is of a sexual nature and it's not an occupational therapy based issue. Many a times we see parents who react adversely if their child is involved, in certain sexual content. So the parent walks in and the child is seeing something adult on TV. The parent may give the child a slap, take away the remote, react ferociously. And that is something which is not needed. The child can be reacted to in a proper manner. You need not snatch away the remote and hit the child. The child can be explained that he's not supposed to watch this and the TV can be put off so that the child realizes that this is something he shouldn't see or she shouldn't see. Sexual behaviors normally start by the age of 12 or 13 and reach their peak by the age of 18 or 19 and then dwindle after the age of 20, 22. A lot of children with the autism spectrum pick up words, and when they pick up words, they might sometimes repeat certain sexual words again and again. That can also get a little embarrassing for the parents. Sometimes they may repeat songs which have sexual content, and they very well understand the meanings of these songs, and it can get a little embarrassing for the parents. After the age of 10 or 11, please have a male attendant to bathe the male child, or the father does it. Have a female attendant to bathe the female child, or the mother does it. The opposite gender parent should not engage in activities like bathing, changing clothes, etc. with the child. Preferably, even the child should not be sleeping on the same bed with an opposite gender parent so that the child does not make any initiations or something wrong doesn't happen. We've had innumerable number of mothers who come to us and talk about their sons touching them inappropriately, wanting to kiss them, wanting to hold the chest, wanting to hold the backside, do multiple things which are sexual in nature. One of the most important reasons why help for sexual problems is not sought is because people feel that these problems are sexual in nature and what a doctor is going to do. They feel a sense of shame, feel a sense of guilt, feel a sense of stigma associated with seeking help for sexual issues. They may feel that if I seek help, everyone will come to know. And if everyone comes to know, my child will be singled out. He would not be allowed to enter school. He will not be allowed to study. The society members may react. Multiple things can happen. But it's always important to try and speak to your child with autism and try and find out what's happening. I remember in a school that I visited, we had a child with autism who touched a teacher on the breasts. And the teacher immediately took him to the principal. And when I went there and he was standing there and I asked him, why did you touch the teacher on the breast? And he said that the breast appeared to me as two balls and I felt the balls are soft, so I decided to touch them. This was totally autistic thinking. There was nothing sexual in it. Very often, to work with sexual issues in a child with autism, we need to think autistic. Children with autism spectrum may or may not realize that they are getting aroused sexually. They may or may not realize that they have sexual feelings. They may or may not realize where to express those feelings. They may not realize where they should go and talk about it. It's important that when we look at children from the autism spectrum, we should be very clear that they should have some space for sexual expression. They should not engage in any form of self stimulatory behavior in the hall, in the living room, in front of others, but they may do this in the privacy of their bedroom or bathroom. They should not allow anybody to touch them or kiss them in 4 areas. My simple sex education message to children with autism spectrum is no one should kiss you or touch you on 4 areas. 1, the lips. 2, the chest. 3, between the legs. And 4, behind. If we even teach this much and drill it into the child, very often what happens is that these children realize, and whenever anything like this happens, they might then at times inform the parents that something untoward has happened. So, sex education is not only just sexual information, but we also have to teach these children about protecting themselves from sexual advances. Tell them if someone other than the parent or the caretaker touches them inappropriately, they are supposed to come and report to the principal or to the parent. Because when they report, probably action can be taken. When they don't report, no action will be taken. It's also important that children with the autism spectrum have enough of outlets, enough of physical play, enough of moving out, running, moving in the gardens, enough of, I would say, going out of the house, channelizing their energies so that the sexual feelings do not reach a high. A lot of people ask me, should we get a hysterectomy done for our girls? The answer is no. If the child can manage the menstrual cycle or the menstrual cycle is regular and you can manage it, there is no need of a hysterectomy. There's no need to remove the child's uterus and ovaries when it's working absolutely fine and the child is developing as a girl. It's only in extreme cases where we are unable to manage and there's heavy bleeding that one may consider the use of a hysterectomy. Many parents tell me, are there medication to suppress sexual desires? In extreme cases where we find that there are multiple problems that the child is facing, there are some medications that may be given to sort of reduce sexual desire to some extent. But these medications have to be taken under the supervision of a psychiatrist, and they cannot be medications which are over the counter. It's also very, very important to know that there are a large number of precautions that one needs to take. One, see that your child bathes regularly, see that he cleans himself regularly, help the child to shave the pubic hair, the hair around the genitals regularly. If the child is getting aggressive, some physical activity is needed. If the child is getting irritable, some physical activity is needed. The child can be involved in masturbation once a day or twice a day in his own room. But many children with autism spectrum develop a liking for the act of masturbation and convert it into a compulsive act. So it's very important that we have to be careful. A lot of people who I have spoken to very often tell me that there are sexual feelings in a child with autism. How is it that he's able to express sexuality without having empathy or the emotional quotient being poor? I always say sexuality and masturbation are at times acts which are very mechanical. The emotional quotient is between two people, and the child with autism may not necessarily have that emotional quotient. He may be blunt about sexuality. He may be very direct about sexuality. He may talk about sexuality. What can we do to help a child that probably has behavior which is like masturbation? If you feel it's excessive, give the child some marbles to play with, give the child some atta to play with, give the child a sponge dough, give the child opportunity to play in water. If he can go out to play in a garden, these will channelize the energies. Children with the autism spectrum also need help with regard to bathing, brushing, cleaning. At such times, if there is only a single parent and no help is available, you can assist the child. You're the mother, you're the father, you're not going to do any wrong to the child. The child should not look at you as a sexual object. Many a times, what also happens is that, like I said, we aren't aware whether the behavior is sexual or occupational therapy based. In such cases, you may have to have an occupational therapy assessment to decide whether the child actually has a sexual issue, or whether the issue is psychological in nature, or whether the issue is a therapy based issue. Many children with autism spectrum disorders may fail to express what they feel, but that doesn't mean they don't have sexual feelings. They do have. And those feelings also need expression. Many a times it happens that children with the autism spectrum are abused by people unknown to them. For that, teaching them sexual protection is very important. When I mean protection, I don't mean contraceptive protection. I primarily mean they have to be told if someone touches you on the lips, chest, between the legs, or behind, you're supposed to shout and run away from there. You're supposed to come home and inform your parents, who will then attend to the matter. This has to be drilled into them day in and day out. And only when this drilling happens will they probably in a position to sort of understand this better. There are also multiple other facets of sexuality in autism that have to be understood. Can children with the autism spectrum have children? Yes, they can. Will their children get autism? Not necessarily. Can a child or an adolescent with the autism spectrum disorders marry? There are multiple factors. It all depends. The family factor, who's going to be the caretaker, who's going to look after them, who the girl is, how nice she is. Multiple factors play a role in the management of marriage in a child with autism spectrum. Financial, long-term finances, children, their admission, multiple factors play a role. We have many adults or adolescents with autism spectrum who feel that others are going out with women, others are going out on a date, others are meeting friends of the opposite gender while they aren't. So it's important that you have a homogeneous group of boys and girls who probably meet each other. I don't necessarily say that there is anything out of the way or sexual that's going to happen in those groups, but it's very, very important that they meet each other, interact, talk under parental supervision. Many children may engage in some funny behaviors in the night when they sleep. They may try to keep one leg over the mother. They may try to keep a leg over the father. They may try to sleep over the mother, sleep over the father. And these are behaviors, if the mother is intolerant about, then she has to explain to the child. If the mother is open about it, she can speak to the child. If the mother is uncomfortable about it, then ways and means to handle this will have to be found out. Hormonal therapies don't work for autism. Estrogen and progesterone or testosterone supplementation does not help. Certain sexual behaviors cannot be treated medically. Most of the sexual behaviors have to be treated behaviorally. Many children with the autism spectrum also may indulge in seeing a bit of pornography online. It's very normal. Let us not overreact if the child views pornography. Let us not overreact if the child goes and sees something that has adult content. Let's look at it as a part of normal development. If the child goes and kisses a stranger, do not hit the child. Analyze his behavior and try and find out what happened. If the child looks at a particular person in a peculiar way, don't get upset. Many children with autism spectrum do that. Many a times what does happen is parents also don't know how to react. Parents also get bothered about how do I express sexuality to this child. I had a father who told me, I think my child has not masturbated. Should I teach him how to do it? And I said, whatever happens naturally should happen naturally. And the child in due course of time did learn. And the child in due course of time did understand. And the child in due course of time did masturbate. I had a parent who told me my son is 23 or 24 and has had no sexual exposure. He's getting aggressive. Do you think I should arrange for a professional sexual service so that his urges reduce? My answer was no. Nature provides for masturbation. Nature provides for stimulation. You don't need a sexual service. Why should he have a sexual service? And what if he demands it daily? What are you going to do? There is no need for us to forcibly introduce sexuality into the lives of our children with ASD. If it comes to some naturally, let it come. If it is delayed a bit, let it come. If it is not happening, let it remain. Who should I go to if my child has sexual issues? Meet a psychiatrist. If the child needs counseling, we'll get a therapist involved. If the child needs someone to be spoken to, we'll get a special educator involved. But what is also very, very important is do not meet doctors who are not aware about sexuality. I know a number of people who have met doctors who have prescribed different kinds of hormones which have affected the child. I have met doctors who have prescribed the wrong medication which have affected the child. I have met gynacs who have said, let us do hysterectomies, which has affected the child. Some children with autism spectrum may be asexual at times. They have no sexual interests. It's absolutely fine. There are some children with autism spectrum who are hyposexual. They have reduced sexual interest. It's absolutely fine. There are some children with autism who are hypersexual. That needs help. So you see all forms of variants within the sexual behavior. A mother has written in that I'm a single mother and my child is 14 now. For his bathing, I need to assist him, and I had mentioned not to bathe by the mother What do I do, sir? My mother and I live with my son. Well, there are no hard and fast rules when it comes to sexual issues in ASD. You have to take it case by case. You have to take it situation by situation. So, in case you are living alone with your child and you don't have a caretaker, obviously you would have to assist. But you have to make sure that he does not touch you inappropriately, that he doesn't touch you here and there, that he doesn't sort of trouble you while you're bathing him. But it may happen that you'll have to bathe him even way into his adulthood at times. It's absolutely fine if you have to do that. I remember many parents who asked me that why are these sexual behaviors coming up? And if they do not get expression, what will happen? Will the child get more aggressive? Not necessary. The child may get a little irritable, he may get a little upset, he may feel a little frustrated, but it won't happen that he would get very aggressive. The treatment of sexual issues is the analysis of every situation. You analyze what helps my child, what does not help my child. You analyze what my child likes as a reward to prevent these behaviors, I will offer it. What my child doesn't like to do, I will offer it if he continues with those behaviors. Masturbation is normal. Teach him where to do it and when to do it. Teach him where not to do it and when not to do it. Do not shy away from sexuality. A lot of the times, sexual issues in autism and other developmental disabilities are pushed below the carpet. People feel, oh, let us not talk about it. You also need to teach girls with autism spectrum about menstrual hygiene, how to wear a pad, how to wash themselves, how to take care of themselves. They should know about menstrual hygiene. Premenstrually, that is before the start of menses, some children with autism spectrum do get irritable as a part of the premenstrual symptoms. It's something very commonly seen. What I want to convey to all of you is, as a parent, take responsibility and be in charge of the sexuality of your children. Do not think that your child can manage without sexuality. It's a basic right of every individual with disabilities. It's a basic right of every individual with autism spectrum. It's very, very important that we deal with this. Even today in this forum, I want to urge you all to be free and ask all the questions that you want. Ask me everything that you want to know, and I'll be more than glad to answer you. Let us empower ourselves and handle sexuality in ASD well. Because sexuality in ASD needs to be handled, not shunned away. You need to accept that the child has sexual feelings. You need to accept he's a human being like you and me. You need to accept that he's probably the way he is. Deal with it like you would deal with any other teenager, considering the limitations of autism. All I want to tell parents is speak about sexuality. Get your own fears out. Then automatically you will be able to get your child's fears out. Let us sexually liberate children with autism spectrum. Let them not have a knowledge of this. And I'm very sure that in doing this, we will be able to bring about a whole new change in their behavior, their sleep, their anger, multiple things. And when we do this, we will see a huge difference in their overall development, because sexuality is one of the innate biological facets of human development. I normally don't talk for more than 40 minutes. So this is what I had to convey to you. If you all have questions, I will be more than happy to answer. I will start taking questions in the chat box now, and all of you can type in your questions over there. Someone has asked me that they have a son who is 19 years old and rubs his private part when he gets excited. How do we deal with this? Excited meaning he's happy, like he's enjoying a movie. Well, many children, when they see movies, certain scenes, when they see the heroine, when they see certain kissing scenes, may engage in this masturbatory activity. And it's normal, as long as it's not embarrassing for other family members. Otherwise, he can be told that you can go to the bathroom, do whatever you want, and come back. How do I explain to my daughter who's 10 about abuse? She's like a 6-year-old who touches people while talking, gets too close, and does not understand the strangers. Tell your daughter to maintain a 1 feet distance. How much is 1 feet? 1 hand distance from anybody. No kissing, no hugging, no going near strangers. Teach her that the stranger is not supposed to touch her on the lips, on the chest, between the legs, and behind. Teach her to scream the moment anyone touches her inappropriately. Teach her to scream the moment anyone tries to forcibly kiss her. These are things that you will have to teach your daughter. How early can the talk of sexuality be done with the child? I think it should be done as early as 10 or 11. And it's important if the child understands, yes, by 10 or 11. When should a child with ASD be taught about sexuality? I think he has to be taught about sexuality always. We start with good touch and bad touch when the child is small, and it progresses yearly depending on what all the child knows. So you start imparting knowledge in a gradual manner to people, to the children, and they will learn. My 20-year-old daughter refuses to wear sanitary pads, and this leads to soiling of the clothes. Find out why she refuses to wear sanitary pads, whether there is some kind of skin irritation locally, whether she feels that it's uncomfortable. You may have a larger size undergarment if needed. You may at times reward her for wearing the pad all 5 days. You may at times tell her it is essential and tell her to wear it. But what's very, very important is the pad has to be worn. We can't have the child bleeding away, particularly once school starts and once other environmental factors are conducive. As special educators, should we initiate this knowledge? If so, when should we make it a part of our lesson plans? By the 7th and 8th standard, or that equivalent age group. Special educators also have to be trained when implementing this lesson plan. They should know what they are talking and how they are talking, use the right visual aids. If a child is indulging in masturbation and it is sensory in nature, how it should be managed? Visit an occupational therapist, seek occupational therapy help, and then manage it. My child is 17. When he touches my cheeks, I tell him no. He touches more. I feel it's a kind of game. Touching the cheeks is not very inappropriate. But if you have a child that keeps touching you inappropriately, the chest, the legs, the thighs, then you need to tell him no. Many children may touch the cheek. It's a very normal phenomenon that does happen. How will a non-verbal child tell us about his abuse? In a non-verbal child, you have to find out. See if the child is having pain while urinating or defecating. Defecating meaning passing a stool. See if the child's underwear is having blood stains. See if the child has marks around the genital areas. Those are signs of abuse. What are the important areas to be added in the IEP for sexuality and its education? Talk about sexual terms, have charts, have visualettes, have a visualette notebook which explains to the child about different facets of sexuality. I think these are things which are very important if you put into your IEP. Simple words, simple meanings, simple letters that will explain, and it will definitely do a good deed to many children. It's also very important that you need to be trained. You suggest any resources? There are multiple resources for sexuality available online. There's no doubt. Also, I am in the process of writing a book on sexual issues and developmental disabilities, which will be out probably next year. You all can refer to that. My son is 18-year-old. He has very low confidence levels in academics. I used to kiss him on the forehead when he makes anything correct. Will this bring about a negative impact? No, not at all. You can please continue to kiss him on the forehead if it helps him. There is no problem at all.
Okay, parents, if you all have questions, please type the questions in the chat box. Dr. Avinash, I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
suppose a child is non-verbal. So how to teach a non-verbal child about, coming and complaining if somebody is sexually abusing them?
Well, we have used mannequins and dolls with non-verbal children, where we have shown them that, if someone touches you, you're supposed to come and inform, with a teacher who uses an augmented communication device. So this can be done.
Anyone would like to ask more questions?
If there's an adult with ASD and he wants to get married, how do we guide him? The answer is, you need to first find out the level of intelligence. You need to first find out whether he understands what marriage is and the responsibilities that it entails. You need to then look at what is the family going to be like after marriage, whether there are people who are going to help him or not, and whatever that's going to happen, and whether he will have people who will sort of probably be there to manage him. So if that is there, then I think marriage can be thought of. I have a daughter with ASD and she kisses on the hands and her breasts are increasing. How do we explain to her? I think it's kissing on the hand is not something which is out of the way, and breast development is a part of normal puberty. So I don't think you should worry so much about it. But yes, keeping the breasts covered and not dressing up inappropriate is very important. My son is 21 years old and he has developed the habit of rubbing his privates when he's not in a good mood. After some 2 minutes, he becomes calm. Don't worry about it. This is very normal behavior. Don't even bother to do anything about it. Um, is puberty arriving early in autism? Well, it does arrive early, but not in all cases. Can this session be attended by our children? Depends on if the child is old enough to comprehend. Yes. How would you help a child who has sensory related issues but would not cooperate at all in therapy? I would want to give him little medication to calm him down and then look at occupational therapy in that light. A child sends sexual text to a girl in his class and the girl's parents are complaining. How can I explain to him to stop this without hurting? Well, normally I would take away the mobile phone if I feel it's a cause of these problems. And I would tell the child that he can't do what he's doing. So I would do it in my own way and prevent this in that manner. My child has had a first episode of seizure at the age of 12 and 2 episodes at 13. Is it because of a change in hormones or puberty? Well, seizures at puberty is very well known. So it can happen, but it's not the only cause. In a classroom, one child engages in a rubbing activity and other children begin to imitate it soon. and the facilitator is unable to manage it, well, I think then in that case you need to have a sort of training session um, for children to explain to them that this is abnormal behavior. Can masturbation be characterized as stimming? I don't think so. I My son is 4.9 years old. What should I do for not developing his excessive sexual issues? Wait till he's 11 and we will talk about it at that time. Uh, what should be done effectively to help the child? I don't know, is in context to what? If a 4-year-old child keeps his hand in his pants, is it sensory or sexual? Both. You need to go to an occupational therapist and seek help. How do we handle irritability in such times? Well, you talk to your psychologist, plan out a behavior modification program. If that doesn't work, come to a psychiatrist. Little bit of medication may be needed. My son, who's 18, touches me inappropriately, and I keep saying no, but it's become a game. What should I do? It shouldn't be allowed. He has to realize that you may not talk to him, you may not speak to him, you may be away from him, you may punish him by not giving him attention. So that's something which you can do. My son is 24 years old and his age proportionate attraction to the opposite sex. And he's been advised not to touch females, though he asked us, how come other students in college touch? That's true. I mean, so if he's in a college setting, he may hold hands, he may sit, but he should not be touching them inappropriately. Socially appropriate touching in a college setting may be recommended. My son is 9 years old and non-verbal. How do you teach him good touch and bad touch? You teach him the same using mannequins or dolls and explain to him what are the good parts and the bad parts and what should be touched and what should not touched. 24 years old, we have not seen him masturbating yet. Is it normal? It's absolutely normal. Don't really worry at all. It's absolutely normal. Are there any particular exercises that can be used to help regulate the child better? Just any form of physical activity is useful. Yes, social stories are also useful. So you could use social stories if you feel they work.
Doctor, there are some questions in the question answer box.
One minute, I'll just take them up.
I can see it.
Yes, I got that. How do you explain explicit scenes that may come while watching TV? Some serials show teenage kissing scenes. Well, tell them that it is kissing behavior and it's not appropriate behavior to be done with everyone. How do you prepare a child who's a girl for puberty? Well, menstrual hygiene has to be taught. Bathing and cleaning the private areas have to be taught. That's about it. Many a times they don't love to touch any wet textures. So how will they be able to handle a sanitary napkin? I think they will learn because we tell them that the sanitary napkin is there so that they don't get wet. They may frequently change sanitary napkins if they feel the wetness is an issue. There is a time we wanted to go out and a sexual part was hard and it was not coming to normal. What do we do at that time? Well, I think there's nothing to worry. It's a very normal phenomenon. How would you address the issue when a child is non-verbal? I've already answered that. What if the child uses his phone to continuously call a girl from the class? You would have to stop that because the girl may be uncomfortable. My son is 9 years old. Since the age of 5, he has the habit of hugging my stomach. And how do you wean off this habit? I think make him sleep separate, make him sleep away, make him sleep a little away from you, and tell him that now we are big. I mean, you may hold my hand and sleep, but you can't touch my tummy. I feel I would introduce the menstrual cup for my daughter. Well, that's your personal choice. You could, but again, whether managing it is not always going to be a problem. My boy is 13 plus. He touches us parents on the thighs. We have told him about bad touch, but he keeps saying he does it anyway. And his sleep is disturbed. Well, disturbed sleep, he may need some medical help. I think he has to be told not to touch more vehemently, probably, with him. What about when my father is not with me? I'm a single parent. She sometimes goes to her dad visiting, but they have house help, drivers, etc. And I feel it's unsafe. Talk to your husband about it and make sure that the male members of the house do not get close to her. How do you touch good touch? How do you teach good touch, bad touch to teenagers? Just as like you would teach them to small children. If the male child is healthy, is precocious puberty seen? Not necessarily. My daughter is 12, well adjusted to the menstrual process, but keeps clicking her selfies, and we have stopped giving her the iPad. Uh, well, it's a personal choice there. Selfies are not harmful. Why do we assist children to brush their teeth and bathe after a certain age? At least if they are trained, can't they be taught that they have to learn to pass urine? But some children don't learn. They're not able to learn. What do we do? Well, I think there's another question about explaining to a child about erections. Erections are normal, so don't really bother. The child will sort of manage it. My 24-year-old son with limited vocabulary will repeat the word girl at many times. What do I say to him then? Nothing. It's absolutely fine and normal. Don't do anything. Is there an increase in OCD when he hits puberty? Yes, with the aggression, sometimes the OCD can increase. One day, my mom saw him masturbating and laughing. It was very shocking. It's absolutely normal. So you don't need to worry about masturbation at all. Do children with autism bathe properly? Do we stop supervising them? No, we don't stop supervising them. We make sure that they clean themselves thoroughly. A 10-year-old changes her pad every time to go to the bathroom to pass urine, though it may be less than 25% soaked. So we have to teach her that, it can't be changed every time unless it's soaked to a large extent. My 8-year-old is scared to sleep alone, hence sleeps with us. Is it fine? Absolutely fine. Is it necessary to remove pubic hair in boys? It's hygienic. Both boys and girls do remove the pubic hair. It's hygienic.
Doctor, there's one more question. My son is only 8.8 years, but he gets excited on seeing some animated girl cartoon characters, some exercise dance videos, even some high frequency music, and rubs his genitals vigorously. Is it puberty?
Maybe puberty, maybe sensory sensation. Don't worry about it. How do you remove pubic hair from the child who has sensory issues? Well, you get special razors that can be used. You can sedate the child and do it. So there are ways and means. You have to do it probably once in a few months, not very regularly.
But sedating again, doctor's intervention is needed, right?
You would need, yes, you would need. You also can apply certain creams with which the hair comes out. You don't necessarily need to do a shaving. I have no idea about those razors. I had a parent that told me, but I personally feel even certain creams, hair removal creams work.
There was one question about the grandmother was very shocked on seeing the child masturbating. So I think the child needs to be taught, that it's a private act.
Yeah, where, when, how, and to what extent. Yes, the child has to be taught.
Parents, any more questions, please ask. We have time.
Fatima, I think there's one question about from a parent, doctor, who is asking how to prepare an adult for marriage.
I answered that.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I answered that. Yeah.
Okay.
At what age?
Any more questions from the attendees?
My daughter is 9.5. When my husband sits near her, she gets irritated and calls me. I think it's absolutely, the children are attracted to one particular parent at times. It's got nothing to do with your husband at all. Someone has written they want to consult me. I think my numbers are there with Fatima. I've also typed them out. You can take them and meet me if you want. You can ask me your questions here.
Yeah, I'll give the number.
For the information of all attendees, we'll be sharing you the details, whatever required on this aspect on an individual email ID, which has been shared during the registration. So you need not worry on those.
Sometimes child uses words in public about sex. It's absolutely normal. People, they do. I've had number of autistic children who go on fuck, beautiful, this, that, they keep talking. It's a very normal thing. It happens at puberty. It's just like our other children who use bad words and abusive words and sexual words, they also use. It's only that our autistic children don't know where to use it. And
Yeah, that's the problem. Because
Yeah.
even my kid, he
So-
hears the friends and all
yeah,
saying.
so suddenly guests are there and now fuck, suddenly it gets embarrassing, obviously, for everyone. I mean, I know it can happen. But the thing is, he's probably heard it from his peers, or he's heard it from, his siblings' peers, if nothing else.
Yeah. And they think it's cool. They just don't know
Yes.
when to use it.
Does seizure and puberty have a correlation? No, not at all. But yes, epilepsy is known to increase when hormonal changes happen. But epilepsy and puberty don't have any correlation.
There's one more question. I have a 12-year-old child and who got mature, and after that her behavior has totally changed. Sometimes she's getting very hyper and is becoming unmanageable for me. She's getting irritated, often shouting, screaming, and getting more aggressive. What do I do? Please suggest.
Well, I think you need to find out whether there are hormonal changes. You need to get a few tests done. We assess behaviorally what's wrong, and if needed, then medical help may be needed. Someone has written in, how can we teach an adolescents about sexually transmitted diseases? I don't think there's a need to teach them about sexually transmitted diseases. I mean, why would you want to teach them about HIV and the other sexually transmitted diseases? Age, appropriate age of removing the pubic hair whenever it grows. There's no age.
My 14-year-old son goes into the bedroom and puts the folded bedsheet under his t-shirt. Is this indicating something about sexual feelings? When he comes in the room, he removes it.
No, it's normal behavior. Many children do it. Nothing to worry.
How can we teach about masturbation act? One parent has asked.
Well, I think there are a number of YouTube videos that talk about masturbation and even show the act, not in a pornographic manner, but in a very scientific manner. So you can use those videos and explain to the child if you want to.
Okay, Priyanka, a parent Mannar Khanta Venam is asking to unmute. He wants to ask some question.
There's a very interesting question that my son has come to know about sanitary pads, and he thinks that he should also use it. So he wraps himself with paper. How do I explain to him it's only for girls? I think show him charts of male and female anatomy and explain to him that the anatomy is different. I think he will probably understand. My friend has a child at the age of 18 who doesn't masturbate. Is it okay? It's perfectly fine. Don't really worry about it. At what age do they start masturbation? Anywhere between 10 and 18. Sometimes even younger children do it. So there's nothing to worry that way. My 18-year-old son keeps going to the toilet every 10 minutes at night. Is there any sort of sexual activity? Well, I don't know what to comment there. You would have to probably try and see and find out if there is. Best behavioral techniques for minimizing inappropriate sexual behavior: cutting it the first time it goes wrong. Don't laugh about it. Be very serious about it. My son is 19 years old, sleeps with me, behavior is normal. Let him sleep with you. Don't worry at all. There are certain songs that my son sings and wants to listen to again and again and gets into self-stimulation behavior. Well, if it's repetitive behavior, then you need to manage it. If it's happening once in a while, don't worry about it. To control it, you may need a consult with, say, a doctor and a psychologist, and it can be managed.
Any more questions? So shall we conclude on this or we'll wait for some time, doctor?
Whatever you all feel.
Fine, maybe we can wait for 2 minutes, and if there are no questions, then we'll wind up.
I think we could play the AV, and then after that, if anyone has questions, Otherwise, we'll wind up.
They've asked, my mother-in-law changes a dress before my daughter. How do I explain? Well, tell her to change in a separate room or in a separate bathroom, not in front. What is the age of wet dreams? I think the moment they hit puberty, 12, 13, 14, 15.
One question from how to teach public and private place.
So you use a doll or you use a diagram and you can teach about she wants public and private place for masturbation. Well, I think there's nothing like that. The bedroom and the bathroom, nowhere else.
A social story, I feel, will help.
Yes, social stories would help.
On what is a public place where he cannot do and what is a private place.
I have seen that my son keeps moving his leg inwards. Is it sexual? I think many children do that. Don't think of it as sexual at all.
One more question. My 14-year-old son likes to smell his armpits. Is it normal?
It's normal. Everyone does it. People do it. It's even people who sweat a lot do it. I mean, it depends on what smell he gets. Children with ASD are attracted to certain kinds of odors. So if they like that odor, they keep doing it. Put some powder, put some scent, he may stop doing it.
Did we cover this question? Hello, sir. I have a 12-year-old child and got mature, and after that, her behavior has totally changed.
Yes. We spoke about that. Yeah.
Sure. Sorry.
My 9-year-old son is on the spectrum, and I'm used to hugging, kissing him to express my affection. Should I reduce it? Not at all. You're his mom. Please continue doing it. My daughter is 8 years old and sleeps with my elder son. Is it okay? As long as there's no problem, it's absolutely fine. In Bombay, there is always a pressure of lack of space, so we can't really do much.
Dr. D'Souza, I'm just running the poll for the attendees. So meanwhile, you can take the questions.
So you're giving me my exam result. Okay, fine. So.
Participants, I'm running the poll. Please give your feedback.
There is one question about behavioral techniques used for minimizing inappropriate sexual behavior. Dr. D'Souza, your input on this, best behavioral techniques used for minimizing inappropriate.
Well, I think what's very important is that there has to be a lot of physical activity, to sensory substitution. So if he's touching the genitals, some other sensory substitution like a soft ball or a sensory ball is something which would be useful. Occupational therapy regularly is very essential. A lot of music, lot of dance, lot of alternate channelizing of senses. I think they work. Kneading of dough, playing with different textures, they work. So I think those are what we would advise.
Yeah. Dr. Avinash, a big thank you for being part of this webinar. It was very informative, especially considering this topic, which is I can say a kind of a taboo topic. So we're very glad to have it here. And I would like to thank all the attendees for being part of this webinar. Hope you all were able to benefit from this session. All the best, and wish you all a happy and safe Deepavali.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Doctor. Thank you very much, Dr. D'Souza, for coming. Yeah, as Rajendra said, it's a taboo topic and many parents shy away from asking. So it was a very enlightening session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. Thanks once again on behalf of Forum for Autism. And a special thanks to Priyanka also for coordinating all this. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.